The unexpected encounter. The neon-lit streets of New Detroit buzzed with the usual cacophony of hover car engines and holographic advertisements. Dr. Maya Chen trudged through the crowded sidewalk, her once pristine lab coat now a dingy gray. It had been 3 months since the closure of Horizon Labs, and with it, the end of her promising career in xenobiology. Maya's stomach growled, reminding her of the meager rations waiting in her tiny apartment. As she rounded a corner, a flicker of movement caught her eye. In the shadows of a dilapidated building, a figure huddled beneath a pile of discarded packaging materials. At first glance, Maya assumed it was just another of the city's many homeless. But as she drew closer, she noticed something odd about the shape. It was too angular, too alien. Her scientific curiosity piqued. Maya approached cautiously. The figure stirred, and a pair of large, multifaceted eyes peered out from beneath the makeshift shelter. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She had studied countless xenobiological specimens, but never had she encountered a living, breathing alien on the streets of Earth. "Hello," Maya said softly, crouching down to eye level with the creature. "Are you all right?" The alien's eyes darted nervously, taking in Maya's appearance. After a moment, it extended a limb from beneath its covering. The appendage was unlike any Maya had seen before. A complex arrangement of jointed segments ending in delicate, finger-like projections. Maya's mind raced. How had an alien ended up here, alone and seemingly abandoned? Earth had strict immigration policies for off-world species, and New Detroit wasn't exactly a hotspot for extraterrestrial tourism. "Are you hungry?" Maya asked, reaching into her bag and pulling out the protein bar she'd been saving for dinner. She unwrapped it and held it out to the alien. The creature hesitated, then slowly reached out and took the offering. It examined the bar carefully before bringing it to what Maya assumed was its mouth. As it ate, Maya noticed the alien's form seemed to relax slightly. "My name is Maya," she said, tapping her chest. "Do you understand me?" The alien made a series of clicks and whistles, then shook its head in a surprisingly human gesture. Maya frowned. Without a universal translator, communication would be difficult. She was about to attempt some rudimentary sign language when a commotion down the street caught her attention. A group of men in dark uniforms were moving through the crowd, scanning faces and checking IDs. Maya's heart rate spiked. She recognized those uniforms. Terran Security Force. They were known for their harsh treatment of off-worlders and those who aided them. "We need to go," Maya whispered urgently to the alien. "Can you walk?" The creature seemed to sense her distress. It struggled to its feet, revealing a body structure that reminded Maya of a praying mantis crossed with a jellyfish. Iridescent patterns rippled across its semi-transparent skin. Maya quickly shrugged off her lab coat and draped it over the alien, hoping to conceal its otherworldly appearance. "Come on," she said, gently guiding the creature away from the approaching security force. They moved as quickly as they could through the crowded streets, Maya constantly glancing over her shoulder. The alien's movements were awkward and drew curious looks from passers-by. But so far, they'd avoided detection. As they neared Maya's apartment building, a booming voice cut through the night air. "Halt, Terran Security Force. Everyone remain where you are." Maya's heart pounded in her chest. They were so close to safety. She made a split-second decision. "Run," she hissed to the alien, pushing it toward the building's entrance. To her surprise, the creature moved with sudden speed and grace, darting through the door just as it was closing behind another resident. Maya turned to face the approaching security officers, hoping to buy the alien some time. As the uniformed men surrounded her, she raised her hands in surrender. "Identification," barked the lead officer, holding out a scanner. Maya fumbled for her ID chip, her mind racing. What would happen to the alien? Had she just committed a crime by helping it? The consequences of her actions were beginning to sink in, but strangely, she felt no regret. As the officer scanned her chip, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. Maya looked up to see people pointing at the sky. their faces a mix of awe and fear. Following their gaze, she gasped. Descending through the smog-filled sky was a massive ship, unlike any Maya had ever seen. Its surface shimmered with an otherworldly energy, defying the laws of physics as she understood them. The ship came to a stop, hovering silently above the city. The security officers seemed just as stunned as everyone else, their attention diverted from Maya. In that moment of confusion, she felt a gentle touch on her arm. Turning, she found herself face to face with the alien she had helped. But now, it stood tall and proud, the lab coat discarded to reveal its true, majestic form. The alien's multifaceted eyes met Maya's, and suddenly, she heard a voice in her mind. "Thank you, Maya Chen. Your kindness will not be forgotten." Before Maya could respond, a beam of light engulfed them both. She felt her feet leave the ground as they were drawn upward toward the hovering ship. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was the bewildered faces of the security officers growing smaller and smaller below. Maya Chen, unemployed xenobiologist, had just become part of something far bigger than she could have imagined. Her simple act of kindness was about to change the course of human history. As the light faded and darkness took her, Maya's last conscious thought was a mix of excitement and trepidation. Whatever lay ahead, she knew her life would never be the same. The journey begins. Maya's consciousness returned slowly, her senses gradually coming online like systems rebooting after a power surge. The first thing she noticed was the absence of the usual city sounds. No hover car engines, no blaring advertisements, just a soft, steady hum that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. She opened her eyes, blinking against the soft, diffuse light that filled the room. As her vision focused, Maya realized she was lying on some sort of bed, though it felt more like floating on a cloud than any mattress she'd ever experienced. "Where am I?" she mumbled, her voice sounding strange in the unfamiliar acoustic space. "You are aboard the Nexus, Dr. Chen," came a melodious voice that seemed to resonate directly in her mind. Maya sat up abruptly, her scientific training kicking in as she took in her surroundings. The room, if it could be called that, had no discernible walls or ceiling. Instead, it seemed to be a sphere of swirling, opalescent energy that shifted and flowed like a living thing. Standing, or perhaps floating, nearby was the alien she had helped on the streets of New Detroit. In this environment, its true form was even more breathtaking. Patterns of light danced across its translucent body, and its multifaceted eyes sparkled with an intelligence that both thrilled and intimidated Maya. I can understand you now," Maya said, her mind reeling with questions. The alien's body rippled in what Maya interpreted as a nod. "Yes, the Nexus has established a neural link, allowing for seamless communication. I am Zix, an emissary of the collective." Maya's scientific curiosity overcame her initial shock. "The collective? Are you a hive mind species? And how did you end up on Earth? Why were you disguised as a beggar?" Zix's body pulsed with colors that Maya somehow knew represented amusement. "Your inquisitiveness is admirable, Dr. Chen. To answer your questions, the collective is an alliance of spacefaring civilizations. We are not a hive mind, but we do share a deep telepathic bond. As for my presence on Earth..." Zix paused, its colors shifting to a more somber hue. "I was part of a covert observation mission. We've been monitoring Earth for some time, assessing your species' readiness for first contact. My disguise was a final test, to see how humans would treat a vulnerable alien in their midst." Maya felt a mix of emotions: fascination at the revelation of alien life, pride that her act of kindness had apparently been significant, and a twinge of anger at being unknowingly tested. "So, what happens now?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Why am I here?" Zix moved closer, its form rippling with what Maya interpreted as excitement. "You, Dr. Chen, have demonstrated the best qualities of humanity. Your compassion, coupled with your scientific background, makes you an ideal ambassador. We would like you to represent Earth in discussions with the collective. Maya's mind reeled. Me. But I'm just an unemployed xenobiologist. Surely there are more qualified people. Diplomats, world leaders. Perhaps, Zix acknowledged, but the collective values actions over titles. Your kindness to a stranger, even at potential cost to yourself, speaks volumes about your character. Besides, Zix added, a hint of mischief in its mental tone, your expertise in xenobiology will be invaluable in the conversations to come. Before Maya could respond, the energy field around them shimmered, and a window seemed to open in the fabric of space itself. Maya gasped as she saw Earth, a beautiful blue marble suspended in the vastness of space, growing smaller by the second. We are on our way to the collective's central hub, Zix explained. There you will meet representatives from dozens of civilizations and help shape the future relationship between Earth and the wider galactic community. Maya felt a mix of exhilaration and terror. She was about to become the first human to travel beyond the solar system, to meet alien species she had only dreamed of. But with that honor came an enormous responsibility. What if I make a mistake? She asked, voicing her deepest fear. What if I say the wrong thing and jeopardize Earth's future? Zix's form rippled with what Maya now recognized as a gesture of reassurance. Do not fear, Dr. Chen. You were chosen not just for your kindness, but for your adaptability and quick thinking. Trust in those qualities. As if on cue, the energy field around them shifted, and Maya found herself in what appeared to be a vast control room. Alien beings of various forms moved about, manipulating holographic displays and conversing in a symphony of verbal and non-verbal communication. Welcome to the bridge of the Nexus, Zix said, guiding Maya toward a central platform. It's time for your crash course in interstellar diplomacy. Over the next several hours, or was it days? Time seemed to flow differently here. Maya absorbed more information than she had in years of academic study. She learned about the history of the collective, the complex web of alliances and treaties that bound its members, and the challenges facing the galaxy at large. Through it all, Maya's scientific mind cataloged every detail, every new species she encountered. But it was her human empathy, her ability to connect with beings vastly different from herself, that truly set her apart. As they approached the collective's hub, a massive space station that dwarfed anything humans had ever constructed, Zix turned to Maya with a serious air. Dr. Chen, there's something you need to know before we arrive, the alien said, its colors shifting to a deep, somber tone. The reason for our urgency in contacting Earth, it's not just about cultural exchange or scientific advancement. The galaxy is facing a threat, one that could annihilate all sentient life if left unchecked. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What kind of threat? Zix's form seemed to shudder. We call them the Void. They are not a species in the conventional sense, but a force of entropy and destruction. They consume entire star systems, leaving nothing but cold, dead space in their wake, and they're heading toward your sector of the galaxy. The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. Earth, with all its beauty and flaws, its triumphs and struggles, could be wiped out without ever knowing what hit it. Is that why you chose me? Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. To warn Earth. Partly, Zix admitted, but also because we believe humanity, despite its current limitations, has the potential to play a crucial role in stopping the Void. Your species' creativity, your ability to find solutions where others see only problems. These qualities may be key to our survival. As the Nexus docked with the collective's hub, Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She may have been an unemployed scientist just days ago, but now she carried the hopes of not just humanity, but countless alien civilizations on her shoulders. I'm ready, she said, surprised by the determination in her own voice. Zix's colors brightened. Then let us begin, Dr. Chen. The fate of the galaxy awaits. The doors of the Nexus opened, revealing a vast, shimmering chamber filled with beings of every conceivable form. As Maya stepped forward, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. The journey that had begun with a simple act of kindness on the streets of New Detroit was about to change the course of galactic history. Trials and revelations. The vast chamber of the collective's hub buzzed with an energy Maya had never experienced before. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved about, their bodies ranging from solid to gaseous, organic to synthetic. The air was filled with a cacophony of sounds, smells, and electromagnetic frequencies that made Maya's head spin. Zix guided her towards a central platform, where a group of aliens seemed to be waiting for them. As they approached, Maya felt a pressure building in her mind, the neural link adjusting to accommodate multiple consciousnesses at once. Esteemed members of the collective, Zix's mental voice resonated. I present Dr. Maya Chen of Earth, our chosen representative. The aliens turned their attention to Maya, their gazes ranging from curious to skeptical. One being, a tall, crystalline structure that pulsed with internal light, stepped forward. Welcome, Dr. Chen, it communicated, its thoughts tinged with a crisp, almost mathematical precision. I am Sailor, current chair of the collective. We have much to discuss. Over the next several hours, Maya found herself in the most extraordinary debriefing of her life. She answered questions about Earth's history, culture, and scientific advancements. In turn, she learned more about the collective and the looming threat of the void. The void, Exaler explained, projecting images into Maya's mind, is not a singular entity, but a swarm of quantum anomalies that devour matter and energy. They leave nothing but empty space in their wake. Maya watched in horror as entire star systems were consumed in the mental projection. How do we stop them? She asked. A ripple of unease passed through the gathered aliens. Another being, this one a swirling cloud of bioluminescent particles, moved forward. That, Dr. Chen, is where we hope humanity can help. We've tried everything in our considerable arsenal, but the void adapts too quickly. We need a new perspective. Maya felt the weight of expectation pressing down on her. She was just one human, an unemployed scientist at that. How could she possibly have the answer to a threat that had stumped entire advanced civilizations? As if sensing her doubt, Zix moved closer. Remember, Maya, it was your unpredictable act of kindness that brought you here. Humanity's greatest strength is its ability to find unconventional solutions. Maya took a deep breath, centering herself. I'll need to know everything you've tried so far, and everything you know about the void's composition and behavior. What followed was an intense information download that would have overwhelmed Maya's human brain, if not for the neural link's ability to process and categorize the data. She learned of weapons that could shatter planets, shields that could withstand the heat of stars, and strategies spanning millennia. Yet against the void, all had failed. As Maya absorbed the information, a nagging thought began to form in the back of her mind. Something about the void's behavior seemed familiar. Can you show me the void's expansion pattern again? She asked. Xaler obliged, projecting a time-lapse of the void's movement across the galaxy. Maya watched intently, her scientific mind racing. It's not random, she muttered, more to herself than the others. The pattern. It's like. Suddenly, it clicked. Maya's eyes widened as the realization hit her. It's behaving like a virus. The chamber fell silent, all attention focused on Maya. Explain, Taylor prompted, a hint of excitement coloring its mental tone. Maya's words tumbled out in a rush. The void's expansion, its ability to adapt to your defenses, it's all reminiscent of how viruses behave on Earth. They're not conscious, not really alive in the conventional sense, but they evolve and spread in predictable patterns. She paused, gathering her thoughts. If the void is like a virus, then maybe we've been approaching this all wrong. Instead of trying to destroy it, we need to quarantine it, study it, and develop a vaccine of sorts. The idea hung in the air, alien minds processing the novel concept. Then, gradually, a wave of excitement began to build. A biological approach to a quantum threat, the cloud-like being mused. It's so counterintuitive, it just might work. Hexaler's crystalline form pulsed brightly. Dr. Chen, your insight may have just given us the breakthrough we've been seeking for centuries. But developing this vaccine will require resources and expertise beyond anything your world currently possesses. Maya nodded, understanding the implication. Then it's time for Earth to join the galactic community officially. We'll need to pool our knowledge, our resources, humanities virologists working alongside your quantum physicists. As the chamber erupted in a flurry of planning and discussion, Maya felt a mix of pride and trepidation. She had opened the door for Earth's integration into a larger cosmic society, but she had also volunteered her planet to be on the front lines of a war against an unimaginable threat. Zix moved closer, its colors swirling with what Maya now recognized as admiration. You've done well, Maya, but this is just the beginning. The real challenge lies ahead. Maya nodded, her resolve strengthening. Then we'd better get started. We have a galaxy to save. As the collective mobilized around her new idea, Maya couldn't help but marvel at the strange path that had led her here. From unemployed scientist to humanities ambassador in a galactic war, all because she chose kindness when faced with the unknown. The fate of countless worlds now hung in the balance, and at the center of it all stood a human who had once thought her greatest contributions were behind her. Maya Chen was about to lead humanity into a new era, one where the stars themselves were no longer the limit. Little did she know, the greatest challenges and the darkest revelations were yet to come. The grand deception. As the collective's vast resources were mobilized to implement Maya's virus-inspired strategy against the void, she found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. Days blended into weeks as she worked tirelessly alongside alien scientists, her expertise in xenobiology proving invaluable in bridging the gap between biological and quantum concepts. But even as progress was made, a nagging doubt gnawed at the edges of Maya's consciousness. Something about the situation felt off. The way the aliens deferred to her judgment, the speed at which her ideas were implemented, it all seemed too easy, too convenient. One cycle, Maya had long since given up trying to equate alien time measurements to Earth days. As she was poring over holographic simulations of void behavior, Zix approached her. Maya, the alien's mental voice was tinged with an emotion she couldn't quite place. The collective's High Council requests your presence. There's something you need to see. Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, Maya followed Zix through the twisting corridors of the hub station. They arrived at a chamber she had never seen before, its walls lined with what looked like thousands of shimmering data crystals. Hexaler and several other high-ranking members of the collective were waiting for them. The atmosphere in the room was tense, the alien's body language, or equivalent, radiating unease. Dr. Chen, Hexaler began, its crystalline form pulsing slowly. You have proven yourself to be not just intelligent, but also intuitive and perceptive. We believe it's time you knew the full truth. Maya's heart raced. The full truth? What do you mean? Haler gestured, and the room around them seemed to dissolve, replaced by a vast starscape. What we're about to show you is the most closely guarded secret in the history of the collective, the true nature of the void, and of our conflict with it. The stars around them began to move, time accelerating. Maya watched as civilizations rose and fell, as entire galaxies collided and merged. And then she saw it, the first appearance of the void. But it wasn't what she had been led to believe. The void didn't emerge naturally. It was created. I don't understand, Maya whispered, her mind reeling from the implications. Zix moved closer, its form rippling with what Maya now recognized as shame. The void was originally designed as a weapon, Maya, a way to reshape the cosmos, to eliminate threats before they could emerge. But it grew beyond our control. The truth hit Maya like a physical blow. You, the collective, created the void. But why? How could you unleash something so destructive? Taylor's mental voice was heavy with regret. It was meant to be a tool for preservation, a way to protect developing civilizations from cosmic threats. We thought we could control it, direct it. We were wrong. The images around them shifted, showing the void's early devastation, the panic of the collective as they realized what they had unleashed. Maya watched in horror as entire species were wiped out, their potential snuffed out before they could even reach for the stars. "Why are you telling me this now?" Maya demanded, anger and betrayal coloring her thoughts. "Because," Zix replied, "your approach, treating the void like a virus, it's the closest anyone has come to a real solution in millennia. But to truly implement it, to have any hope of stopping what we've unleashed, we need humanity's full cooperation. We need Earth's resources, its people, its unique perspective." Maya laughed bitterly. "And you think Earth will just hand over everything after learning that the galaxy's greatest threat was created by the very beings asking for help?" Ayler's form dimmed slightly. "No, we don't. That's why we're telling you. Maya, you've earned our trust, and we hope we've earned yours. We're asking you to be the bridge, to help us approach Earth, to make them understand the stakes." Maya's mind raced. The magnitude of what she had learned threatened to overwhelm her. The collective, this advanced alliance of civilizations, had made a mistake of cosmic proportions. And now, they were turning to humanity, to her, for salvation. "I need time," Maya said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need to process this." The aliens agreed, giving her space. As Maya retreated to her quarters, her thoughts were a chaotic swirl. The fate of the galaxy now rested not just on finding a solution to the void, but on her decision. Would she help the collective approach Earth, knowing the terrible secret they carried? Or would she find a way to warn her people, potentially dooming countless civilizations in the process? As she stared out at the vast expanse of space, Maya Chen, once an unemployed scientist from New Detroit, now held the future of multiple worlds in her hands. The choice she would make would shape the course of galactic history. And somewhere, in the dark between the stars, the void continued its relentless advance, unaware of the moral dilemma unfolding in its wake. Humanity's stand. Maya spent what felt like days in isolation, grappling with the monumental revelation and the choice before her. The fate of not just Earth, but countless civilizations across the galaxy hung in the balance. As she paced her quarters, her mind raced through scenarios, weighing the consequences of every possible decision. Finally, she emerged, her face set with determination. She requested an audience with the collective's High Council. As Maya stood before the assembled alien leaders, she took a deep breath. "I've made my decision," she announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "I will help you approach Earth, but on one condition: absolute transparency. We tell them everything. The truth about the void, your role in its creation, and the full scope of the threat we face." A ripple of unease passed through the council. Sailor stepped forward, its crystalline form pulsing with concern. "Dr. Chen, are you certain? The risk of Earth rejecting our plea for help is a risk we have to take," Maya interrupted firmly. "Humanity has faced existential threats before. We've made terrible mistakes and learned from them. If we're to work together, it must be built on a foundation of truth and mutual respect." After a moment of tense silence, Six moved to Maya's side, its colors shifting in what she now recognized as support. "She's right," the alien communicated to the council. "We've hidden the truth for too long. It's time to face the consequences of our actions and move forward together." Slowly, the council members signaled their agreement. The decision was made. Over the next few weeks, Maya worked tirelessly with the collective to prepare Earth for first contact. Using the advanced communication technology of the hub, they sent a series of messages to key scientific and governmental organizations on Earth, gradually revealing the existence of alien life and the impending arrival of a diplomatic mission. The day of the collective's arrival on Earth was one that would be remembered for generations, As the sleek alien ships descended through the atmosphere, hovering over a specially prepared site outside of New Detroit, Maya stood at the forefront of the welcoming committee. Her heart raced as she watched her fellow humans react with a mix of awe, fear, and curiosity to the sight of real, living aliens. World leaders, scientists, and military personnel gathered as Xyler, Zix, and other representatives of the collective emerged from their ship. Maya stepped forward, acting as the bridge between two worlds. People of Earth, she began, her voice carried across the globe by countless broadcasts. I stand before you not just as Dr. Maya Chen, but as a representative of humanity who has witnessed wonders beyond our wildest dreams and terrors beyond our darkest nightmares. The beings you see before you have come with an urgent message and a plea for help. Over the next few hours, Maya, with the help of the collective, laid out the truth. She explained the nature of the void, its origins, and the devastating threat it posed to all life in the galaxy. The revelation of the collective's role in creating the void was met with shock and outrage, but Maya pressed on, emphasizing the need for cooperation in the face of annihilation. We stand at a crossroads, Maya concluded, her voice ringing out across the stunned silence. We can choose fear, distrust, and isolation, and face the void alone, or we can choose to rise above, to forge a new path forward together. Earth has been given an opportunity not just to save itself, but to play a crucial role in saving countless civilizations across the stars. The debate that followed was fierce. Some called for immediate rejection of the aliens' plea, viewing them as too dangerous to trust. Others saw the opportunity for advancement and protection that cooperation could bring. Through it all, Maya stood firm, answering questions, bridging cultural gaps, and tirelessly advocating for unity. Days turned into weeks as discussions continued. Slowly, a consensus began to emerge. Earth would join the fight against the void, but on its own terms. A new organization was formed, the Terran Defense and Exploration Initiative, TDEI, to work alongside the collective while maintaining Earth's autonomy. As preparations began in earnest, with human scientists working alongside alien counterparts to implement Maya's virus-inspired strategy against the void, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and hope. The path ahead would be difficult, fraught with challenges both scientific and diplomatic, but for the first time since learning of the void's existence, Maya felt they had a real chance. One evening, as she watched teams of humans and aliens working side by side in a newly established research facility, Zix approached her. You've done something remarkable, Maya, the alien communicated, its colors swirling with admiration. You've given us all hope. Maya smiled, her gaze fixed on the bustling activity before her. We've only just begun, she replied. But together, I believe we can face whatever the universe throws at us. As if in response to her words, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. On the main view screen, a swirling mass of darkness appeared at the edge of the solar system. The void had arrived. Maya's expression hardened with determination. This was the moment everything had been leading to. As humans and aliens alike looked to her for leadership, she stepped forward, ready to face humanity's greatest challenge. All right, she said, her voice steady and clear. Let's show the universe what humanity can do. As the facility erupted into action, Maya Chen, once an unemployed scientist, now the linchpin of galactic cooperation, led the charge against the darkness threatening to engulf them all. The battle for the future of not just Earth, but all sentient life, had begun. And at its heart stood a human who had proven that sometimes the greatest journeys begin with the smallest acts of kindness.